We have been looking into some reform candidates, one in particular. This is Mike Manning. Now, he is the candidate in an upcoming by-election, which is scheduled to take place next month on Redcar and Cleveland Borough Council. Now, we have uncovered a series of posts from a now deleted account on X, of course, formerly Twitter. And as a result of those allegations, we've learned last night that Nigel Farage has launched an investigation into this particular candidate. Now, just to give you the background here, James, Mr. Farage has been asked extensively about the party's vetting procedures and addressed this just 13 days ago.
Do you now acknowledge that your vetting in the past has been very weak and insufficient?
Yeah, poor. Poor. Sorry it's crude, but it's been poor in the past and it won't be in the future. And nothing angers me more than all the work that I put in to this 7 days a week, being let down by people who haven't told us the truth, and we frankly haven't put enough effort in or professionalism in to find out the truth about them. So yes, I'm enormously angry that many times over the years I've been thrown into political crises through no fault of my own. If it's my own fault, I can live with it, I can own it. But with things like this, it's not good enough. And I promise you that we are doing everything we can to make sure that these candidates for the Scottish Parliament are vetted and are fit and proper people to put before the electorate. Whether you agree with their views or not is a separate matter, but they're fit and proper people in every way.
I've often found myself thinking this. If I can't think of anything off the top of my head that flies are attracted to. I don't know. Can you think of anything that flies are attracted to? Maybe If flies were really, really attracted to something, at what point would that something start wondering whether the problem might possibly be them? I don't know. Sorry, I don't know where that came from, Henry. I can't, for the life of me, think that anything that flies are attracted to, or indeed anything that floats in swimming pools. But if flies were really attracted to something, at what point would that something start wondering if the problem was not the flies, but them? Carry on.
My cactus in the bathroom actually infested with flies at the moment. I'm having to deal with.
There you go. That's the kind of colour that people tune in for.
It's a very small one. Mike Manning, according to the Reform UK Facebook page, was previously in the military. He now works in IT. He's quoted in that post saying, "Reform is dedicated to protecting our community, supporting the vulnerable and investing in our youth. They are the only party speaking up for our traditions and values." Now, he's been accused by a senior Liberal Democrat MP of anti-Semitic and xenophobic posts on this account, which has been subsequently deleted. I'm going to read them to you, James. Some people may find some of these posts offensive, but I think it's important to lay out.
Yeah, and this is serious, actually.
Yes.
As isn't Henry and I engaging in our usual banter. This is actually a very serious warning that you may well find some of this stuff profoundly offensive.
So in posts as recently as November, that's November of 2025, so a few months ago, Mr. Manning allegedly posted, "Jews, Muslims, there is something about circumcision that goes to their heads." That same month, the 9th of November 2025, in a reply, Mr. Manning appears and is reported to have said, "We already pay the jizya tax. It's called universal credits. They are all on it." Now, jizya is a historic Islamic tax that was levied on non-Muslims in exchange for sort of allegiance or protection. He's also been criticised after a post from an account which allegedly from that same account where people are being wished happy Kwanzaa, which is a cultural festival in the US. It's celebrated by African Americans from the 26th of December to the January 1st. And the reply reads, "Are you having the traditional stuffed chimpanzee for Kwanzaa dinner?" Now, after sending these posts to Reform UK for a right of reply, they told us last night that they've launched a disciplinary investigation into Mr. Manning after LBC made them aware of this slew of offensive posts. I've been speaking this morning with Daisy Cooper, who's the Liberal Democrat deputy leader, who's told me that Nigel Farage needs to go further.
Nigel Farage must suspend Reform's council candidate for Redcar, Mike Manning. He's just hurled sickening insults at Jewish and Muslim communities. Nigel Farage seems happy for this kind of person to represent him in public office. We think he must kick out his candidate now and make clear that these kind of awful views have absolutely no place in British politics.
We've also been sent a letter by Daisy Cooper, which has been sent to Nigel Farage in the last 10 minutes or so, where she is now calling for this candidate to be removed, has accused him of sickening insults at the Jewish and Muslim communities, saying the posts were abhorrent, utterly out of place in the 21st century, and she has described the post as racist, anti-Semitic, xenophobic, and questions whether he was vetted, of course, linking back to what Nigel Farage said earlier. I must tell you, a Reform UK spokesperson has told us, as soon as we became aware of these posts, we immediately opened a disciplinary investigation.
I know it's not a question any of us can answer, but what attracts these people to Nigel Farage? I mean, what is it about him that makes them feel that he's the man for them, I wonder? It's a funny one, isn't it? And do we know, Henry, what vetting process Nigel Farage underwent to become leader of Reform UK?
Well, I do think with all the defections we see to Reform, that is going to be an issue that I imagine will arise because, of course, he hasn't been elected to that post, and nor is there any sign of any election, and there's some ambitious people in that party now, as we know. People like Robert Jenrick, I would imagine, would fancy a shot at being a leader one day. So I don't sense he's going to subject himself to a leadership election.
But would anyone have gone over his past and his history?
To be a leader, I would suspect not, because the tranche with which he stood on also included James McMurdoch, who was a Reform MP who's now been suspended, and he...
that was because he'd been locked up for beating up an ex-girlfriend.
Nigel Farage said that the vetting procedure with regard to Mr McMurdoch wasn't suitable, and you would imagine, given they both elected at the same time, he would have...
but he also said that they knew before McMurdoch got into Parliament that he had got this conviction. So, I mean, it's very hard to know which way the wind is blowing, isn't it, with old Nige?
But important to say, Mr McMurdoch as well was suspended. The reason was because subsequently there was a story about COVID loans with regard to his company. So that wasn't the reason he was suspended.
No, you're quite right.
But that was about COVID loans.
It's so hard to keep up, isn't it? Thank you. And still no answers to the question of something that attracts a lot of flies, but I'm sure we'll get there in the end. Henry Riley, I suspect we'll be talking to you again about racism in the ranks of the Reform UK army and the mystery of what it is about all these racists that finds Nigel Farage so attractive.